Alright, welcome back. We are doing the Fair Basilica event, and I wanted to show you the deck I used to get my wins. So, first off, we have Yoshin Frontliner. He's very cheap, easy to put out, and the +1/+1 when he attacks is good. Benelish Knight Counselor. When you enlist with him, you get a boon when you cast your next creature spell. That creature enters with the battlefield with a 1/1 counter, so you can start building up your guys. Then I use Dragonfly Pilot, so you can start making a bunch of the Dragonfly suits, just in case you need to fly over your opponent and get some easy damage in. Hopeful Initiate, because he's really cheap, and with the training he grows, and he can help you control artifacts and enchantments. Lay Down Arms, in case you need to exile something, nasty, so very handy. Monk of the Opened Hand. The Flurry of Blows is really, really good because we have a bunch of cheap creatures, so you can double spell a lot and start building them up. Patriarch's Humiliation, in case you need to take care of another big creature. Portable Hole, so you can exile some early stuff, early game, to kind of keep you in the fight and keep your opponent off. Recruitment Officer, I thought would be really good just for her ability, so you could start, searching your deck for creatures in case you get stuck a little. Scrove Defector Might, I like him simply because of his ability to make things hexproof, so you can keep stuff alive, which is really, really good. Tawnos Endures, it's a way to exile a creature. It's best to do it on your creature so you can get that perpetual +1/+1. Then we use Ambitious Farmhand, so that way we can get a bunch of land in our hand, so we don't, get a little bit land drowned out. But also really good if you can turn her into the Seasoned Cathar for the lifelink. Angel of Unity, flying, lifelink, and when she enters the battlefield or you cast a party spell, choose a party creature card in your hand and it perpetually gets +1/+1. And as we have a lot of the party cards, he or she will help give +1/+1 to some of your creatures in your hand. Backup Agent, when he enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Pretty good because it ends up being 2 mana for a 3/3, or if you have something else out, you can give it +2/+2. The Borsky Tollkeeper, when he enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals all creature and land cards in their hand. Choose one of them, and that card perpetually gains this permanent enters the battlefield tap. Just another way to slow your opponent down. Circle of Confinement, it's just to kind of control your opponent's board, get some stuff, creatures out of there. Intrepid Adversary is very good with this. If you use his 2 mana ability multiple times, it just skyrockets your creatures. Really, really good. Clement Novice Acolyte, specialized 2. When she enters the battlefield, creature cards in your hand perpetually get +1/+1. Is a good way to get your smaller creatures a lot stronger. But you could also specialize her to become the Life Acolyte, and you get a boon with when you cast your next creature spell, the creature enters the battlefield with a lifelink counter. So you can start spreading out lifelink and get your life back, or keep it up. Then we use Ossification for control, very annoying. Resolute Reinforcements are great in case you need a bunch of cheap blockers, because instead of making 1 of the tokens, you make 2. Sigardian Evangel, basically when she enters the battlefield you can conjure a copy of her, but because of the event you'll be making 2, so you could pretty much have infinite Evangels out, so it could get out of control fast. Spirited Companion for the double draw. Sun Gold Sentinel, so we can kind of clean up your opponent's graveyard so they can't be bringing anything back. The Coven ability is really nice too, if you need to give her hexproof from something and make her unblockable. Anointed Peacekeeper, Vigilance, and you look at your opponent's hand and choose a card name, And spells your opponent casts with the chosen name cost 2 more, and the activated abilities and sources with the chosen name cost 2 more. It's just another way to slow your opponent down. Borrow Time, very annoying card. Brutal Cathar, just as obnoxious. Expedition Supplier, whenever one or more humans and or warriors enter the battlefield under control, conjure a card named Utility Knife onto the battlefield. This ability will only trigger once each turn, but because of the event, it makes 2 of them. And when the Utility Knife comes in, you can immediately attach it. So it ends up giving you 2 Utility Knives to give, +2/+2 to whatever creature, or spread it out if you need. Extraction Specialist, lifelink, but when she enters the battlefield, you can return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature can't attack or block for as long as you control the specialist. Just in case you need to get some stuff back, and I thought it would be really, really handy. Inspiring Overseer, flying, enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So with the event, you'll gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. So it'll keep your hand up. Lauren of the Third Path, 2/1 Vigilant. When she enters the battlefield, she can destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. So you'll be destroying 2 artifacts or 2 enchantments, or 1 artifact, 1 enchantment. Just really good for control. Priest of Ancient Lore. When he enters the battlefield, gain 1 life, draw a card. Great draw engine for cheap. 2 cards and 2 life for 3 mana. Good trade-off. Welcoming Vampire, 2/3 flying. Whenever 1 or more other creatures with power 2 or less enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Another great draw engine, so you never have a low hand. Adeline Resplendent Cathar, Vigilance, and she has powers equal to the number of creatures you control. And whenever you attack for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. It's really good because we have so many tiny creatures. She can get really strong really fast. Citizen's Arrest, to help control the battlefield more. Inquisitor Captain, Vigilance, and when she enters the battlefield, if you cast it and there are 20 or more creature cards with mana value 3 or less among cards in your graveyard, hand, and library, seek 2 creature cards with mana value 3 or less, put 1 of them onto the battlefield, and shuffle the other into your library. Now with the event, that pops off twice, and about 90% of our deck is mana value 3 or less cards, so you're going to get some really good value off of her. Then we have the Search Party Captain. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you attacked with this turn, and when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So you can inevitably play him out for almost 1 mana and then get 2 draws. So it's another great draw engine, because I want to try and keep my hand up and full as much as possible. And then Elshnorn, Mother of Machines, Vigilant. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities of permanents your opponent's control to trigger. For this event, it's very disgusting. Highly recommend using it. It's too good for this event. And lastly, I chose Sanctuary Warden, flying, when she enters the battlefield with 2 shield counters on it, and whenever she enters the battlefield or attacks, you can remove a counter from a creature or planeswalker you control. If you do, draw a card and create a 1/1 green-white citizen creature token. Now with the event, she'll be getting 4 shield counters, so it can get really annoying really fast. And for lands, I used Aganjo and Mishra's Foundry. Aganjo, just because it's a great utility card, and Mishra's Foundry is in case you need to have a nice little blocker for whatever reason, or another attacker if you're just a little bit off of lethal. But this is the deck I used. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.